Hi there, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I missed the last week of Funguary and taking a surprise hiatus. Big Me decided that celebrating his birthday was more important. Where's my gift anyway, Big Me? Oh, thank you, Big Me. Well, let's see what he got me. Some pants, a shirt, and a jacket. Wow, I can't wait to put this on. Thanks, Big Me. These clothes are so cute. And look at the back. It has a little Haku from Spirited Away. What a thoughtful gift. Big Me will be putting out a video on how these were made. Right, Big Me? Thanks again, Big Me. Well, without any more delay, let's talk about today's video. So this is my last video for Funguary this year. Funguary is an art event hosted by FIFA every year in February. The final week's theme was friendly. Of all the mushrooms, I really liked the Tremella. Tremella is a clearish white mushroom that is used in some skincare products. And I know just the right doll for this. Big Me, bring her in! This is Spectra Vondergeist, and her white to clear transition will be perfect for this mushroom. Well, this intro's already pretty long, so Big Me, take her away. Now to get started, we need to prep the doll base. Take your favorite pair of scissors and whap her in the face. Once all of her hair is gone, it's time to remove her head. There are many different ways to remove a doll head, but today we're going to be using a hairdryer. Go ahead and take your hairdryer, put it on the back of her head, and warm her up. Once her head is nice and soft, you're going to grab her head by the temples and yank it off. Note, you should not be spinning her like I am here, as it can actually damage the neck peg. Once her head is off, it's time to clean up the rest of her face. Go ahead and shake it as hard as you can to remove the remaining face paint and hair. Wow, almost like magic. Something that I didn't actually talk about in my other videos for Funguary is my goal this year for Funguary was I wanted to make dolls that were themed around like D&D and Adventuring Party. So I wanted my final one to be that NPC that you encounter in the woods. She's really pretty. The entire party loves her, but she's not entirely there. So I kind of gave her the 1,000-yard stare here. So after filling in her eyes, I decided that I wanted to give her like a nice soft pink lip. Again, she's beautiful, the whole party loves her, so she's gotta be pretty. So I'm giving her pink lips, and I decided on blue eyes to kind of complement the yellow that I'm planning on giving her later in her dress and her eyeshadow. So now I am taking a white chalk pastel and I'm using it to draw on her face to try to get rid of that yellow staining that the glue can cause in some vinyl. Now, this isn't always the best idea if you are doing it as a different color than their skin tone, but if you're doing white on white, then you are totally fine. You'll actually see in just a moment what I mean. Right here, that line does not go away. So I actually ended up chewing up the pastel to make dust to finish shading in her face. Now, the only issue with chewing up the pastels like this is they actually don't have a lot of pigment, so you're going to have to do a lot of layers. As you can see, the gray almost barely shows up on her skin. But the trade-off is it's a lot less pigmented than just drawing straight on her face. Now I'm taking a magenta pastel and I am going to shade her cheeks and her nose. Now, I do go a little too dark on her face, but I am going to use a little bit of white to kind of balance it out. Now once that's done, we're going to start filling in her eyebrows. For her eyebrows, I'm going with this soft gray because I plan on giving her white hair later, and you can't really put white eyebrows on a white face. So completely random. I actually usually write scripts for all of my videos, but I decided to do this one a little more freeform. So let me know down in the comments if you like how this one goes, or if you prefer how I've been doing it before. So as you can see on screen right now, I am actually using a light blue pencil to kind of go around her iris. Now you can't see it at this point too much, but after you layer on a few times with this color, it actually pops a lot more. Now I'm going to be taking a black pencil and I'm going to be putting on her eyeliner because I want her eyes to pop. Now, as you can see in her sketch, she has only 4 eyelashes, 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside, not including the wing. I wanted to give her a stylized kind of look, and I'm not sure I quite achieved it, but I kind of like how it looked in the end. Now to do her lower lashes, I'm doing a V shape. Usually this comes out a little more fluffy, but I think my pencil just wasn't sharp enough here. Go ahead and fill in the iris and fill in those eyelashes that we were just talking about. Now, never be afraid to slightly overdraw when you are drawing with watercolored pencils, because you can actually take a paintbrush dipped in water to make your points even pointier. Now I'm going to be taking a light gray pencil and I'm going to be adding lines into her eye creases. Now on human scale this looks kind of funky, but on doll scale it ends up adding more dimension to the eyeshadow and it looks more human-like. Now once that is done, I'm going to add on her eyeshadow. I'm using this bright yellow chalk pastel. Now, you usually want to do this either before you draw the eye or after you seal the face, which I did it for neither of those options, so I am actually kind of covering her eye with yellow chalk pastel right now, which means later, which I didn't actually have on film, I actually had to redraw the top part of her eye to make it bright again. Now, I also lost my kneaded eraser sometime recently, so I'm using a regular eraser from a pencil to wipe off all of the excess chalk pastel. Now, if you do this, you can actually take the same brush that you were using and brush off all the little eraser bits. Not sure what you call them. Now I'm going to take a pink pencil and put it underneath the eye to kind of breathe life into the plastic. And I'm going to recover her lips, even though I've done that twice now. Now here I decided to add some moles. I'm not 100% sure that I am a fan of how they look, but they're kind of here to stay, so I guess I gotta live with them. Don't forget to put some gray or black in her nose to make her look like she has nostrils. So after you take her outside and spray her down again with Mr. Super Clear, it's time to move on to the next steps. For this part, I'm actually taking some light blue off of a pencil with some water to add it in around her iris. Now you could draw with it, but I actually learned that this pencil doesn't like to draw on plastic very well, so this was the easiest option. And now we're going to color in her lips some more. Even though I've already done that 3 more times. I don't know why I was so obsessed with coloring in her lips. The color did not change this entire time. So now I'm going to take a lighter blue and I'm going to kind of cover up the extremely light blue because I felt like it was a little too bright, but I'm going to leave the very, very top just as bright. Oh, I guess not. Just kidding. Now I'm going to take a very dark blue and I'm going to go around the outer edge of her iris to kind of bring in more depth and dimension. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the pink that we used on her waterline. Now I'm going to take some more eyeshadow. It's not eyeshadow, it's chalk pastel. I'm going to take more chalk pastel to give her eyeshadow, and I'm going to put it above her eyes again. I really wanted the yellow to pop. I may have slightly overdone it, as you can see later, but we'll get there when we get there. I kind of wish I had stopped here, because it's actually really pretty. Now I'm going to be taking some white watercolored pencil on a paintbrush again to kind of brighten up her scleras. Now, when you're doing face-ups on a doll, never feel afraid to flip it over. It actually helps me a lot to draw her left eye since I am right-handed. Okay, and here is what I'm talking about by adding a little too much of her eyeshadow. So I'm adding even more, and in a moment I'm actually going to drag it up into her hairline, and I feel like it looks a little too much like the Dark Swan and a little less like that NPC you see in the forest. So maybe she's a sexy city NPC instead of a forest NPC. So now it's time to add the eye shines. I don't know why, but I am obsessed with adding 2 dots and a dash instead of anything else. All of my dolls have had that lately. Maybe I should change it up. Let me know down in the comments. And my notorious lip shine, which I still absolutely love. And this is what her face turned out to look like. I think it turned out pretty good, but I'm still not sure how I feel about those moles. So now it's time to make her clothes. For her clothes, I used a triple skirt pattern from Requiem Art Designs, but I actually ended up using the shirt that Delightful made a while ago, but you'll see that in a little bit. These are the fabrics I'm going to be using. I'm really just going to use the dark yellow and the floral print. Now for this pattern, I'm going to be using the triple lobe skirt and the tiered ruffle skirt. I will not be using the double lobed skirt. So go ahead and lay out your fabric, make sure it's nice and flat, set your pattern piece on it, and then you're going to take your handy dandy magic wand scissors and you're going to hit it again. And there we have it. So much easier than actually cutting things out. Once that's done, we need to cut out the waistband. Go ahead and take a scrap piece of fabric, set the waistband on it, and we're going to do the same thing with our magic wand. Whee! Now, for this part, you might actually want to plan out where your pattern pieces are going a little bit better because they kind of end up nicer and you use less fabric, but here I'm just kind of tossing them down and we're going to use the same lovely magic trick of slapping it with our pair of scissors. Once it's been cut out, it's time to take them off of the fabric, and we need these 2 pieces that I'm taking off, the one that I'm holding right now, which is the top of the skirt, and the skirt ruffle. Once we have those completely unpinned, we're going to fold the skirt ruffle and stitch along these 2 edges. And this is what the underskirt ended up looking like. I think it's really cute and fluffy. So now we have to actually glue around the bottom edge of the scalloped skirt. You can use any type of glue that you like, but I personally use fabric Mod Podge for this. You're going to lay a thin layer on, and then you're going to fold down the edge. Now, once it's done being folded, you can either wait for it to dry, or you can do what I do, and I actually iron it, which makes the glue dry so much faster, and I don't have to wait. I also ended up stitching down the bottom off camera, and this is what they look like layered together. Now we need to make the waistband. Go ahead and take the left side and the right side, and we're going to take the tiny insert that we cut out earlier and install it in between both of the pieces. And this is what the waistband ended up looking like. I think it's actually pretty cute. So let's attach the bottom. Bam! And this is the skirt. I ended up putting the straps off camera, but we're going to stitch up the back and reveal what it looks like. And this is how the dress turned out. I really wish that it had more volume on the bottom, but I'm not really sure how I could fix that. And now it's time to make the shirt. For the shirt, I am using a pattern from Delightful. It will also be linked below, and it is her steampunk pattern. Once it's cut out, you're going to unpin it from the fabric and stitch it together. Unfortunately, the footage for this actually got corrupted because I used an SD card that I really shouldn't have. So all I have is this part and then the reveal at the end. But if you watch her video, it's actually pretty simple. And this is what it turned out to look like. I actually really love how she crafted this. It's one of the best patterns I have. And this is what she ended up looking like. I ended up doing her hair off camera because it was giving me so many issues, and her shoes were actually made for Faylene, the fairy ring mushroom, a few weeks ago, which I'll link down below as well. All in all, I think she turned out pretty cute, but I'm not sure she reads quite mushroom, but I did capture her next to a mushroom in one of my potted plants. I think altogether, she looks a little too modern compared to all the other mushroom dolls that I made, but as the four of them together, I think they look really cute. Well, there you have her, my Tremella mushroom girl. She does need a name though. Let's have you guys name her. Go ahead and leave some names down in the comments that you feel like would fit her. As long as it's okay with you. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!